Imagine this. You grow up and life just happens. You go from being a kid to a teenager to an adult, and somewhere in between, you start to notice things. The way your family moves, talks, argues, laughs, all of it starts to mean something different once you get older. With that being said, toxic family dynamics aren't really talked about enough. I mean, most of us didn't even realize how deep the issue is until we're adults, until we start looking back and piecing things together, and you start realizing that some of the things you brushed off as normal weren't actually normal at all. But let me reel it back for a second, alright? Now that I've gotten your attention, I've gotten you immersed, I've gotten you nice and warmed up. Hello, how you doing? My name is Mr. Anonymous. I have a mission in mind, alright? I'm just going to tell you now, I do. This is the reason why you're seeing this video. Now, with that being said, we're going to dive further into the toxic family dynamic, and I'm honestly going to talk a lot about my personal life and my personal situations and the things that I've realized when dealing with certain things within my family dynamic that is toxic. Now, first off, I just want to say that a lot of people don't really realize that they really had a dysfunctional family, or a family that weren't treating them all too well, because it wasn't bad enough for you to be like, oh nah, and you know what I'm saying, it wasn't good enough for you to like pretty much just, I guess, ignore everything. I don't know what I was trying to say right there, but the point is, like, so I think a lot more people have the in-between. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the in-between bad and good. So it's like, oh, it doesn't click in your mind. Like, oh, I'm not being treated the way I should, or I'm not being taught certain things, or honestly, we're going to stop it right there. Let me not overcook. Anyways, once we start to sit back and analyze the behaviors of family members, the behaviors of your mom and dad, or grandma and grandpa, or aunts and uncles, it doesn't matter. Everyone, family, blood related, whatever. It's like I feel like people either go one or two ways. They realize, oh, they actually treat me pretty well. Or it goes, oh, they actually treat me pretty bad, and I'm certain they have some severe traumas of their own, but like, that's not your fault if they do have that, because like, what are you going to do? You're literally growing. There's nothing you can do about that. If I'll say this, if your parental guardian, we'll keep it very simple and just limit it to just parents or parental guardian. If your parental guardian is not treating you fairly, and they had a terrible childhood, and they're just bringing whatever they had, their trauma that they had along with them, and then transferring it over to you, that is not your issue. That's not your problem. There's nothing you can do about that. All right. Now, you could bring it up and say, hey, what you're doing is affecting me. You should probably get some help, like a therapist or something. But I'm going to be honest. In my case, 'cause I haven't said them words yet. But if I did, I don't think that would go down right. Just because in my personal experience, in my family, the way they respond to things is just not rational sometimes. And then, you know how it is when you get into an argument with someone, and like, you could start off rational and then you become irrational along with them. That is what is most likely to happen. Mind you, I have gotten a lot better at speaking over the years, me personally. So it doesn't really get to that point. But I have my personal days, because I'm human, and wait, let me stop myself. All right, let's continue. I didn't want to like overcook right there, because then I was going to start looping. Now, we don't got time for that. All right, let's talk about emotional manipulation. Now, in my personal experience, I this is why it's tricky to talk about. This is why this topic right here is real tricky, because one the way it happened in my experience, I'm so serious, I cannot even put it into words. I can't put it into words. I honestly don't even know how to like explain how it happened, right? Like how it happens from my personal experience. It's always like it's too subtle. It was too subtle to realize until years later, and it's still like strange to think about to this day. Like you guys are manipulating me, or the people I'm around the most, like grandma, and I can't really say my mother, but she's in there as well. But she's that's a whole different like topic. I don't even know, but I'm like, it's just like once you do realize it, you're being manipulated in a way that's damaging, right? That'll force you to think one way. Like, let me say this. All right, listen. Imagine this, right? Let's say it's your mother, or let's say it's your dad. It don't matter. Either or, dad, mother, dad, grandma, grandpa. It doesn't matter. Let's say it's one of those four. All right. Imagine someone using their death to like pull your emotional heartstrings or something, like making up a scenario. Like that's not. First off, that's not healthy in general. Like why would you want me to think like that? And why are you trying to force me to feel bad? Because imagine, listen, let me say it like this. You forcing someone to feel something makes them not want to feel bad or make them feel at all. When you keep trying to force an emotion or whatever it may be. Whether it be them trying to, whether it be happiness, sadness, or anger. You know what I mean? Nothing, you can't force anything like that. But like, just imagine that. Now, like I said before, all of this stuff is subtle. So imagine this. You got years and years and years of just different situations. You know what I mean? That just stack over time until it clicks in your brain. Oh, that's manipulation. Why are you doing that? Why do you want me to think like that? That's my example. That's as good as of an example I can give you. I am so sorry if I can't give it in a better way, but that's as good as it's gonna get. Now, let me move on to something else while we still have time left. Now, imagine this. You grow up in a family, right? You know what I'm saying? Of people that they themselves have never said sorry a day in their life, right? Like, with me personally, I swear, I don't remember, like, the words, I'm sorry. And if it is an I'm sorry, it's a I'm sorry followed by, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why not just say I'm sorry and leave it at that? You know what I mean? At least in my experience. I'm like, I have never, like, that's really sad to realize that you probably have never gotten, like, a proper apology for anything. Because, let's say if it's your parent, they do something wrong to you, I don't know what it is, but some parents just don't apologize, man. They don't apologize. They don't say it. They don't say I'm sorry. They just don't, for some reason. And that's why I said earlier about, because matter of fact, honestly, it doesn't even just have to be your parents that don't like apologizing or saying I'm sorry. But this is why I said earlier about traumas and stuff like that just go from person to person in the family. They have a kid and they put whatever they experience, whether it be them getting beatings or them not apologizing or them not receiving apologies, they'll like transfer that over to the kid. You know what I'm saying? Now they're beating the kid, and they're like not saying sorry when they do wrong. I hope this is making sense. All right, but I just find that crazy though. Like, that's wild, and honestly, that needs to change. Who am I kidding? It's never gonna change. Stuff like that don't change overnight. Anyways, for this last bit, if there's anything you want to put into the conversation, go ahead and type it down below. If there's something you personally experienced, you want to speak about it, go ahead and just type it in the comments. It's okay. Um, there is one last thing I would like to say. Like, so just so you know, if you didn't know this, it is not okay to let people in your family manipulate you. No, it is not okay to have people in your family cross your boundaries. No, it is not okay to just sit back and let them say whatever they want about you, especially if you yourself know it's not true. And for the last one, it is okay if you decide to go no contact. With that being said, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.